Good morning, learners and viewers. Welcome to the session of International Logistics and Supply Chain Management, MMPO 008. This course comprises of five blocks. Block 1 is an overview of supply chain management. Block 2 is demand management and customer services. Block 3 is global transportation decisions. And block 4 is warehousing and inventory decisions in global logistics. The last one, that is block 5, that is performance, measurement, and future trends. So we will start with block 1, unit 1, conceptual framework. Now, what we will try to understand what is the meaning and concept of logistics and supply chain management. The term logistics stems from the Greek word logistikos, which means the science of computing and calculating. Firstly, it was used within the facets of military science. In the military science, Webster defines logistics as the procurement, maintenance, and transportation of military materials, facilities, and personnel. Later, a US Air Force technical report of 1981 defines this term as the science of planning and carrying out the movement and maintenance of forces. In the most comprehensive sense, logistics pertains to those aspects of military operations which deals with design and development, acquisition, storage, movement, distribution, maintenance, evacuation, and disposition of materials. Secondly, movement, evacuation, and hospitalization of personnel. Thirdly, acquisition of construction, maintenance, operation, disposition of facilities, and lastly, the acquisition of furnishing of services. In a military perspective, logistics refers to a supportive system which reflects the practical art of moving armies and materials engaged in combats enemy to achieve the desired results. However, in the industrial and commercial world, logistics carries which much wider spectrum that covers activities of the material flow from the source to the processing facilities and subsequent distribution of finished goods from there to the ultimate users, that is, the end users. Earlier, the term physical distribution was commonly used, which refers to manufacturing and commerce of to describe the broad range of activities concerned with efficient movement of finished products from the end of production line to the consumers. In 1991, the Council of Logistics Management, now which is known as Council of Supply Chain Professionals, a prestigious professional organization, modified its 1976 definition of physical distribution management by first changing the terms to logistics and then changing the definition, which is logistics is a process of planning, implementing, and controlling of efficient, effective flow and storage of goods, services, and related information from the point of origin to the point of consumption for the purpose of conforming to consumer requirements. A more systematic definition of logistics management has been given by Bowersox and Kloss as logistics management includes the design and administration of systems to control the flow of materials, work in process, and finished inventory to support business unit strategy. Council of Supply Chain Professionals has further redefined logistics in 2003 as logistics management is that part of supply chain management that plans, implements, and control the efficient, effective forward and reverse flow and storage of goods, services, and related information between the point of origin and the point of consumption in order to meet customers' requirements. While pursuing above definition of logistics management in the international perspective, one can easily argue that in international logistics, at least two countries are involved in the movement and management of these resources in an organization's supply chain across the borders. In other words, there is a movement of goods, services, and related information from one country for the fulfillment of requirements of customers of the another country. For this purpose, most of the logistic activities are required, like movement within a country, such as information, material handling, production, packaging, inventory, transportation, distribution, storage, and security for the resources. International logistics is the process of managing a system that controls the forward and reverse flow of raw materials, services, and relevant information into, through, and out of the international boundaries. International logistics includes the total movement of raw material, products, and services by covering the entire framework of organizations' operations concerned with the movement, including both export and import. The concept of supply chain professionals defined supply chain management as something that encompasses the planning and management of all activities involved in sourcing and procurement, conversion, and all logistics management activities. Importantly, it also includes coordination and collaboration with channel partners, which can be suppliers, intermediaries, third party service providers, and customers. In essence, supply chain management integrates supply and demand management within and across companies. Accordingly, supply chain management can also be defined as an external integration of interrelated functions of the firm with its customers, vendors, and all third party logistics service providers who contribute in the flow of goods. It can be raw material, semi finished, and finished products, and information from the point of inception to the point of consumption with the objective of ensuring superior values to all stakeholders. Or, in other words, we can define supply chain management as an integrated management of various functions in areas of materials, operations, distribution, marketing, and after sales service with a customer focus on extended enterprise perspective to synergize various processes within view of maximizing value to all stakeholders. It refers to a managerial process of a joint approach of all supply chain participants to design, develop, and operate a system which corresponds to customer expectation by making available the right quantity of right quality products at the right time and at right place in the right physical form at a right cost. What are the objectives of logistics and supply chain management? Following objectives of international logistics and supply chain management includes rapid response. Rapid response is concerned with organizations' ability to satisfy customers' service requirements in a timely manner. Nowadays, customers are paying more attention towards the response provided by the companies. Minimum variance. Minimum variance is best suitable for the organizations in providing better services to the customers. Delays, unexpected time of customer order receipt, and unexpected disruption in manufacturing, goods arriving in damaged form at the customer's location, or delivery to an incorrect location, all results in disruption in operations which must be resolved. Next one is minimum inventory. Inventory is unnecessary evil. So organizations try to have minimum inventory in the business framework. So reduced inventory deployment to the lowest level consistent with customer service goals to achieve the lowest overall total logistics cost needs to be implemented. Quality improvement. One important aspect in the business framework is that the quality improvement is a continuous process. And if one defect occurs in the international logistics, then it will multiply several times. So each company is required to take care of the quality of the products. Life cycle support. Organizations should focus on providing life cycle support to the customers so that the product provided to the customers get back to the company in the most efficient way and manner. What are the characteristics of logistics and supply chain management? Some of the key characteristics of logistics management are flexibility. Flexibility is the most important aspect in international logistics as the circumstances changes at every location of the global world. So organizations should try to work effectively and efficiently while considering customers' perception and other business framework scenarios. Second one is technology. Today, technology have been embedded in every aspect of business. With the support of technology, organizations are reaching more easily towards the customer. So, updated technology plays a primary role in the success of the companies. Next one is experience. Customers are looking for better experience in the business transaction process. International logistics is one of the important tools to serve customers in a better and a new way. So companies should provide good experience to customers with the help of international logistics. Time oriented. Organizations should try to deliver desired products in the time oriented manner at the doorsteps of the customer. Availability of goods at the appropriate time enhances the image of company's brand in the eyes of the customer. Then comes human resource. Human resource is the basic platform on which the entire logistics framework is based. So companies should try to keep their employees motivated in the delivery of product to the customers. What are the principles of logistics and supply chain management? Some of the key principles which it offers a superior value to the stakeholders are superior customer value. The ultimate objective of logistics and supply chain is to fulfill customers' requirement in most efficient manner as well as in a better way than the rivals. It seeks to fulfill the goals of providing superior customer value with an appropriate use of resources and to build and gain long-term competitive advantage. Single entity. Logistics and supply chain is all about inter and intra firms process integration. that requires a variety of planning and control mechanisms across the supply chain network. For this purpose, it always viewed as a single entity. Inventory perspective. Traditionally, inventories have been viewed as a buffer to reduce coordination requirements across the network of activities as well as firms. Logistics and supply chain, in its current concept, views inventory in a perspective of speedy flow and a buffer to be used as the last resort after ensuring proper information, sharing, and coordination. Improving flexibility, reducing replenishment cycle time, reducing uncertainties without keeping safety stocks, enhancing market responsiveness capability, and improving quality are some of the key perspectives of inventory in the era of supply chain management. Then comes your strategic orientation. The orientation of decisions in the supply chain is viewed strategically rather than viewing it as an operation L1. For example, rather than being concerned with just sourcing trucks from the market, one could consider long term contracts with the transporters. Outsourcing versus insourcing. Out of the various activities undertaken in logistics and supply chain, it is important to focus on doing what can do best. This has implications on decision regarding outsourcing or insourcing. In other words, out of total activities, which activity should be undertaken in-house and remaining should be given to the outside firm who have better capabilities and expertise to do so in more efficient and effective ways. Supply chain further looks at managing and capitalizing on resources capability of these outside firms by building effective partnerships. Supply chain relationships. The supply chain concept emphasis more of partnering relationship among all the members, such as vendors, channel partners, participants, and all third party logistics service providers, what we call them as 3PL. The contributions of supply chain members are significant for the successful long term performance of corporate enterprises. The philosophy of supply chain management strongly advocates partnership with limited number of external members, vendors, customers, and 3PLs, along with their high level of motivation to take appropriate proactive actions. Flexible approach. Today's logistic and supply chains are designed for flexibility in all the processes of firm's system, starting from procurement to manufacturing, to warehousing, to delivery, which plays a very important part in improving the customer services. Since business conditions are certain to change, the supply chain configuration should be flexible. One, system approach for global optimization. All the elements of the logistics systems are optimized in such a manner that the efficiency and effectiveness of the entire supply chain is key for providing better services to the organizations and customers. Efforts are made to optimize the local system with the global linkage so that proper logistics framework should be designed in a better way. 7R framework of logistics and supply chain management. We had a brief discussion before of it what the 7R are. One of the predominant used postulation of international logistics Supply chain management is the concept of 7R framework. 7R framework provides a handy tool in the framework of companies and how to attend to customers in a more effective and efficient manner. The first one is right product. The right product is the product that the consumer obliges at the moment or in the future. The consumer may be a peripheral to the majority of companies, in spite of whether or not it is a part of production, and companies should try to increase their customer base by giving the right product to its customer. For example, mobile phones, tablets, HD. Second one is right place. Obviously, the right product ought to be shipped to the right place. The right place is where the customer wants his product to be delivered. Companies always assure that the product reaches its right place to the right customer, which it achieves through its efficient supply network and good communication channel. For example, Dell follows this concept to reach out to its customers at the right place. Data is collected from its website, and Dell ensures that right product is ordered by the customer. Then comes the right quantity. The right quantity to be produced can be easily monitored in the retail sector by checking the quali- quantity of product sold. Nevertheless, in operations, it is very important since the operations manager determines the quantity. It varies from company to company because companies have different perspective of reaching and attaining the customers. The correct amount is limited by the factors such as perishable item, product, storage cost, etc. For example, Blinkit, which was earlier known as Grofers, needs to make sure that right quantity is available to the customer, like fruits, vegetables, and the commodities must not be washed out of the frame of perishables. Right place. Then comes your right condition. The item for consumption ought to be in right condition. In other words, it must be functional from the minute it is produced until the end of its intended constructive life. Whereas the correct condition should be assured at the time of delivery of the product. Attention should also be given to the time. For example, Samsung should certify that mobile phone should be delivered in the right condition not only to customers but to dealers also. Right time. Right time is about delivering the product to the people at the right time. Many companies like Amazon, Flipkart have tied with different delivery partners to deliver the product to the customer at the right time. For example, Amazon makes sure it delivers the product within the timeline given by the customer. Then comes your right customer. It is of utmost importance that the right product reaches the right consumer. The companies produce the standard product and add different characteristics to it according to the increasing demand of the customers. Therefore, it is important that the companies deliver the right product to right customer according to customers' need and demand. For example, a local ketchup producer may sell in big cans to bulk consumers, whereas it can sell in small packets to local retailers. The next one is right cost. This right cost refers to an appropriate price of the product manufactured by the company or the right value to achieve all of the above. The company must assure minimal cost while guaranteeing all 7 R's. Some factors lead to high cost of the product like customization, large inventory to ensure satisfactory delivery times, etc. For example, generally to guarantee delivery at the right time for the consumer, Hindustan Unilever always tried to keep an inventory check and maintain a sufficient quantity. They should not have high inventory levels to do this, as they also need to find the balance to get the right cost. What are the key tasks of logistics and supply chain managers? What they do? We will start with logistics manager. A logistics manager is a professional, self motivated individual in an organization who is generally responsible for overall supply chain management of goods and services. Logistics manager manages the entire order cycle to enhance business development and ensure sustainability and customer satisfaction. They generally schedule all the inbound shipments and outbound shipments in an organization, provide leadership to the warehouse team, and keep transportation at the low cost. This successful logistics manager is responsible for prioritizing the key tasks of the organization so as to meet expected shipping dates and maintaining an accurate inventory. Logistics managers generally ensure that the right products are delivered at right location at right time and maintain the quality required in the most cost effective way in an organization. Key tasks of logistics manager. Some of the tasks which logistics manager has to perform is supervision of shipping. Logistics managers are responsible for the management of shipping of the various products and services in an organization. They are responsible for fleets of trucks, forklifts, and other shipping equipment. Logistics manager also are responsible for managing and completing the operations as per the given budgets. This is very difficult as the cost of operation changes on monthly or yearly basis. They have to keep an eye and have to monitor it. They generally schedule all the inbound shipments and outbound shipments in an organization, provide leadership to the warehouse team, and keep transportation low cost. Some of the functions of shipping department are they must work along with drivers, focus on route optimization, review performance matrices, exceed customer service expectations. Supply chain activities consist of collaborating with teams for different inbound and outbound transportation projects that require higher coordination with various service providers. Logistics manager also consult with managers about outbound and inbound transportation legalities, systems, networks, and service levels to make recommendations for creative solutions and build long-term business relationship with suppliers and partners so as to improve supply chain flow and delivery schedules. Inventory management. Here, the managers should spend their valuable time in supervising the supply of raw materials required in manufacturing plants to support the production. These plants may be producing large output just in time or may have lean manufacturing environments. Logistics manager must ensure a safety culture by implementing safety policies and training programs for employees throughout the warehouse. Distribution center supervision. Logistics manager in some organizations may perform as a head of distribution, shipping, and receiving departments. They may provide their supervision in picking, packing, and forklift operations employees. Warehouse duties include creative ideas for improvements, coordinating product movements from raw material to finished products, and adjusting product rotation process. They might have to manage the inventory control department or personnel also. Recruitment and training of warehouse personnel. Logistics manager in some organizations also perform recruitment and training of warehouse personnel as they are liable for the work of warehouse personnel. They are required to train them accordingly to the specific needs and develop required skill sets for the task involved in warehousing process in an organization. Then comes your supply chain managers. Supply chain manager is a person who is responsible for the management of equipments, hardware, and all other logistic details of a company or a company's vertical. It is their responsibility to manage all the steps needed to acquire raw material, delivery to the various checkpoints throughout the company's business, ensure that the company makes enough of its product to meet the customer's demand, and make the delivery to the right destination on time. They must develop a delivery system that will ensure maximum product development and optimum number of shipments to customers or other manufacturers for further usage. The supply chain manager needs to be a well versed in process management and development in order to have an adequate understanding of how the company functions. Ideally, the manager must be able to provide fresh ideas that allows the company to deliver its products at much higher quantities than normal or at a faster rate compared to its competitors in the market. Task of supply chain manager. First one is to enhance customer service. Key task of the supply chain manager is to manage the customer service. Traditionally, consumers had to spend a lot of time to place order, purchase, and consume a product. But now customers require service within a fewer time frame. So customer always get what they are looking for, and thus the supply chain manager should try to ensure that the customer service platform is accessible 24 by 7 so that the consumers remain connected to the organization. Enhanced product value. Earlier, the role of supply chain management was just to reduce the overall cost of the product or services. But with the passage of time, now the improvement task of the supply chain manager is to enhance the value of product and service at each and every stage of the end-to-end supply chain management by covering upstream, downstream suppliers, and partners so that better value added product is provided to the customer. Reduce product cost. Nowadays, the key task of supply chain manager is not only to reduce the cost of the product, but also to keep the overall cost of the product at the organization's part at the bare minimum level. This will facilitate the competitive position in market to move in the favor of organization. Enhances financial flow. One of the important flows In the supply chain management is the flow of funds from customers towards the organization. It is one of the key tasks of the supply chain manager to make sure that the smooth flow of funds is happening in the complex web of supply chain network. Supports marketing strategies. Supply chain manager works in close coordination with all the functions of the organization so that the efficiency and effectiveness should be maintained for the overall wealth maximization of the organization and other related activities. Push and pull approaches to supply chain management. From the supply chain management perspective, it is very important to understand the marketing strategy of the companies, especially with respect to push and pull strategy. In the push strategy, companies prefer to communicate its potential consumers through their network of buyers, through selective, personal, and limited network media. They negotiate with their immediate customers about the terms of trade, transaction, delivery, and payment to bring attention and special interest in such offerings to achieve commercial objectives. On the basis of such negotiations, there is a physical flow of products and services. Under this kind of system, the firm make supply chain system supply driven where production and distribution systems are coordinated truly on long term forecasts and firm's objective. Contrary to push strategy, in the pull strategy, companies prefer to communicate with potential consumers through mass media by preaching attributes of their offerings to bring attention and special interest in such offerings for the achievement of commercial objectives. In ideal pull scenario, the firm is not required to hold any inventory, and supply chain system is solely based on make to order philosophy. The success of supply chain in this scenario needs enhancement of quick response capabilities that require real-time information flow about consumer demands. Some of the limitations of the system are frequent stockout, lost sales, higher customer service costs, etc. Pull strategy based supply chain system is attractive since it leads to decrease in inventory level and inventory carrying cost throughout supply chain network, better scope of customization of customer service as last minute change in demands can be accommodated, and less marketing and distribution costs as firms enjoys sellers market scenario. Now, moving further, we move to unit 2, that is global supply chain management and influences of agencies. Customers are investing more of their valuable time in assessing the products like smartphones, laptops, etc., with the support of internet and other upcoming technologies. This clearly signifies that the tastes and preference of customers are changing with the passage of time. Companies are moving from one location to another location to source best quality of raw material from their suppliers and are processing much of their organization's function in the extended formats. And lastly, keep on deeply engaging with their outbound suppliers so as to reach their valuable customers at the right time and at right place. In global supply chain management, organization one hand take care of cost, effectiveness, and And on the other hand, customers' responsiveness plays its key role. When an organization focuses on the spectrum of cost effectiveness, then it tries to move away from the customer. But when the same organization focuses more on the part of the customer's responsiveness spectrum, then the per unit cost of product increases. Globalization is a two-edged sword in that it provides opportunities to enhance profits through cost reduction and maximizing comparative advantage. But it is also intensifies competition. Therefore, it is critical that different stakeholders, especially the governments, recognize the changes as they impact on areas that includes investment, economic growth, and infrastructure development. Due to internationalization and the emerging socio-economic trends, customer expectations are increasing rapidly. As a result, just-in-time transportation system, still not very common in India, will soon become the principal norm rather than the expectation. The deregulation of transportation system in India began with the road transportation in mid 80s, air transportation in early 90s. Port and highways have already been taken up. What are the challenges and importance of supply chain management? The major challenges of global supply chain management are: first one is supply chain visibility. Supply chain visibility is one of the important challenges which global organizations are facing nowadays. As the companies are relying more on extended supply chain partners and suppliers, this is having a closer impact on their business operations. Organizations can easily keep a close eye on to the day-to-day operations happening within their vicinity, but it is really becoming a cumbersome task for the organizations to have a clear visibility on what is happening in the other location. Supply chain alignment. Global supply chain organizations generally fail to realize that they themselves are also a part of bigger supply chain network. That is why organizations have to pay due diligence towards the inbound and outbound suppliers and partners. Sometimes proper alignment is missing in the global supply chain management, and thus this results in great loss to the organization itself and to the other associated partners and suppliers located at far end of the globe because they are all interrelated. Cost of product. The important challenge which global supply chain organizations are facing is the gradual increase of raw material cost in the entire supply chain. The companies are continuously extending their suppliers and partners network for low cost materials across the globe. Thus, it is becoming very difficult for the organizations to maintain the low cost of the final product for the benefit of the end customers. Then comes quality of product. Organizations are forming more partnerships and collaboration with the extended suppliers in the global supply chain network for taking the benefit of the globalization to the end customers. But now, the quality of product has become a big problem. For some companies, the challenge is to maintain the highest quality parameter from the same set of suppliers. Shorter lead time and inventory. Organizations are becoming more dependent on the extended suppliers in today's global supply chain management. Customers are demanding products in shorter time span. So it is becoming really difficult for the companies to fulfill the desired demand of the customers with the available time and resources. Moreover, keeping sufficient inventory at the desired level has now become a real devil in the supply chain. What are the different supply chain management models? A global supply chain is an interconnected institutions, materials, and activities that produce and supply products, both goods and services, to the final consumer. In the instance of GSCs, it is spread throughout the globe. Any firm that utilizes components and facilities from the other manufacturing unit located abroad comes across the challenges with global supply chain management. Efficiency oriented supply chains. In ventures located for ease and have additionally high significance of advantages, users add up to the cost. Here starts to finish effectiveness in an unquestionable requirement. Instances of such enterprises include concrete, steel, paper items having minimum effort design, among others. They are most appropriate to one of the three productions network type. First one, proficient, quick, and persistent stream. They are the best ready to augment resource use. The first one is the efficient supply chain management model. The productive inventory network is suitable to companies which are described as extremely market competitive, with less players competing for a similar combination of clients, of those who have not seen having significant difference at wealth proposition. Supervisors should concentrate on elevating most extreme start to finish productivity. There are two principles involved they can make to achieve this. First one, to begin with, they ought to guarantee high paces of benefits combined with high overall equipment efficiency, that is OEE, so as to decrease cost. And secondly, they ought to guarantee significant levels of estimate exactness to ensure items accessibility and thus provide impeachable request satisfaction. This model is most applicable to industries such as steel and cement that survive in extremely competitive markets with various manufacturers and consumers who might not easily respect their distinct value propositions. Second one is fast supply chain management model. The quick store network is best for those companies producing popular commodities within a smaller span. Considering stakeholders' view, the basic difference among competitors' worth recommendation is that they should revitalize their portfolios on the basis of the recent identified patterns. By identifying a specific pattern mechanism in different marketing areas, buyers propensities its conceivables to show intervention cost at a particular level. Creation ought to be planned for a solitary bunch for each stock keeping unit, with its size characterized by deals for the business seasons. The board should concentrate on advancing consistent portfolio re-establishment, which is upheld by three primary categories: brief time frame from thought to showcase, most extreme degrees of figure precision so as to diminish advertised intervention cost, and start to finish effectiveness to generate reasonable expenses for the clients. For example, apparel industry as fashion trend changes very fast, and smartphones as technology gets obsolete very fast. The third one is continuous flow supply chain management model. The basic spotlight of the persistent stream store network model is the market interest strength. Forms are planned in such a way that the path guarantees consistent rhythm and constant progression of items takes place. This model normally is for exceptionally adult inventory network with a client request profile that has little variety, such as paper industry. So, the creation of outstanding burden creates interest through consistent model recharging dependent on a make to stock point. Here, creation is planned for reviewing the stock levels, which are predefined and are dependent on the reorder points before the cycle for that stock was created. The executives should concentrate on advancing inventory network's joint effort, which is bolstered by three principal abilities. Initially, they incorporate electronic exchanges that are utilized to diminish the quantity of value-based procedures required during the request cycle, just as the sharing of deals and stock data to improve the capacity to anticipate requests. In the most adult stage, cooperative arrangements are made with key clients who are assisting with envisaging request designs. What is the impact of Warehousing Corporation Act on logistics in India? To keep pace with the reform initiated by the world economies, India too had taken various reform measures by enacting new laws and regulations so as to face fierce competition and sustain in the world economy. The Warehousing Corporation Act 1962. A warehouse plays a vital role and supports various functions of it, other logistical functions to enhance the performance of supply chain to achieve overall objectives of the firm. With the passage of time, warehousing, one of the significant functions of logistics management, has no more remained as a storage function. This act came up with the incorporation and regulation of corporations with aim at providing support to warehousing of agriculture produce and other commodities and for matters connected with it. The main objective of this act is to issue a warehouse receipt to the depositor that can be used as a negotiable document for transaction with producers, dealers, and bank. Second one, to reduce wastage and shortage losses by establishing, developing, and running warehouses on scientific principles. Third one, to help depositors in marketing the warehouse goods. And the fourth one is to train and develop manpower to manage warehouses built and run on scientific principles. The Act specifies the formulation of Central Warehousing Corporation, that is CWC, and State Warehousing Corporations, SWCs, for the storage of agricultural produce. These corporations can store agricultural produce, seeds, manures, fertilizers, and other notified commodities offered by industries, cooperative societies, and government agencies. The Act allows these corporations to function as agents on the behalf of government for the purpose of purchase, sale, storage and distribution of the above mentioned goods. Warehousing, Development and Regulation Act 2007. The law of contracts governs the business of warehousing, and it is left to the contracting parties to decide the terms and condition of warehousing arrangements. An important feature is that the business of warehousing is the status accorded to the warehouse receipt, and whether such receipt is transferable by endorsement and delivery, along with the property in the goods represented by such receipt. The salient features of this act are: major aim of the act is to create provisions for the advancement of warehouse and regulation of warehouse, negotiability of warehouse receipts, and establishment of a warehouse development and regulatory authority. Secondly, a person who delivers goods to the warehouseman for storage is defined as a depositor, and the goods are defined as all tangible goods, excluding actionable claims, money and securities, whether fungible or not. Thirdly, it is the definition of negotiable warehouse receipt recognizes negotiability of such receipts and provides for effective of transfer of goods represented thereby when the receipt is endorsed and delivered. The law recognizes a warehouse receipt in electronic form issued by the warehouseman or by his duly authorized representative. Existing warehouse business has to apply for registration within 30 days from the date of commencement of the Act. The law provides for registration of accreditation agencies for issues of certificate of accreditation to the warehouse, issuing negotiable warehouse receipts. Acts regulating the logistics industry in India. The Indian logistic industry is governed by regulated by the following acts: Act of Carriage by Air, Indian Carriage of Goods by Sea Act, Motor Vehicle Act, which was last amended in 2022, Multimodal Transportation of Goods Act, Carriage by Road Act, Goods and Services Act, what we call it as GST, Environmental Protection Act, and Consumer Protection Act 2019. Major provisions of select acts are: the first one is the Motor Vehicle Act 1988. This act basically came into force in 1914 with the growth of road traffic. The need for regulation on public safety and convenience was realized, and the above act, which has limited functions, resulted into passage of Motor Vehicle Act 1939. This act was further amended in 1988, and the Motor Vehicle Amendment Bill 2017 was passed by the Parliament on 10th April 2017. Key provisions of the Motor Vehicle amended in 2017 are: safety of pedestrians and non-motorized transport, safety of children during commuting, recalling of vehicles, stringent punishment for faulty road design, engineering and maintenance, transparent, centralized and efficient driver's licensing system, registration of new motor vehicles by vehicle dealers, National Road Safety Board, transport aggregators, national transportation policy, penalty multipliers, and compensation in hit and run cases. Motor Vehicle Amendment Act, September 2019. Under this, the following offences for violation of road regulations were identified: unauthorized use of vehicle without license, driving without license, driving despite disqualification, overspeeding, drunken driving, offense related to the accidents, causing obstruction to free flow of traffic. The last amendment of Motor Vehicle Act was done in 2022, which deals with third party insurance and claims management, including filing claims with the Motor Accident Claim Tribunal. The Carriage by Air Act. This covers the conventions relating to the rights and reliabilities of the carriers, consigners, and the consignee. As per law, the air carrier must deliver an air consignment note for carriage of goods that must state the name and address of the consigner and consignee, the goods detail, that is the type, quantity, package, freight, and so on, and the value of the goods. The carrier is liable for damage or loss of goods sustained during transit, and the compensation has to be paid as per the stipulated terms. The Carriage by Air Act was amended in 2016 and promises increased compensation to air travelers in case of death, injury, lost baggage, or even inordinate delay in flights. With this, we will be concluding this session.